So for today's close call with Freaky Biff, comes out of the state of Massachusetts. And here's what happened. So I decided to go riding one night, and upon riding, what I ended up doing was setting up a bunch of film lights out front in the driveway. And I started riding, and I started like working on some cool stuff, like tail butters and like doing 180s with them. I was having a really good time, you know, and I started to continue to shift forward into the night as I started to enter a flow state and started to get really stoked on what was going on. And shortly thereafter, it was getting to be about 10 o'clock at night. I'm in a neighborhood. I didn't want to create too much commotion for the neighbors. And so I grabbed all my lights and I grabbed the GoPro and I was packing up. And I was kind of like bummed because I still wanted to keep riding. And I was shining the lights straight down and I looked into the GoPro and I'm on my wheel and I noticed that it kind of looked spooky. It had the lights, just the wheel, total darkness. Just, it had a spooky vibe to it. I was kind of digging it. So I started to ride. And I started to go through the neighborhood locally and was just kind of geeking out on this angle on the GoPro. So I ended up going, all right, well, I'm going to change the scenery. I don't want concrete. I want some dirt, or I want some gravel, or, you know, I want some additional like images. So I start venturing out beyond the neighborhood, and I'm cruising on sidewalks, and I'm seshing, and I start picking up speed, and I'm just, yeah, you know, really getting into it. And I start going down this hill towards this basketball court that I go down every day. And there's been this log. It's like a tree branch, like a dead piece of deadwood. It's like laying down on the sidewalk, and I've been hitting it periodically throughout the day if I'm in that area. And I'll just like a quick little bonk either up or down the hill. And so I ended up going down the sidewalk, and I completely forgot that it was there. So I'm sitting there focused on this shot, and I'm just geeking out and having a good time, not paying attention, right? And I start picking up speed, and then sure enough, before I even could see what was going on, just bam, board's gone. Gone. Just under my feet, and boop, like that. And all of a sudden, I started just like flopping through the air a little bit, and then, you know, from my memory, I just landed in a patch of grass, or bushes basically is what it was. And so it just kind of like felt like it got swept out. I had this kind of whoa, and then landed, and, you know, scraped up the arm a little bit, so it's all purple and whatnot. Well, apparently I grazed a small shrub stump that was right there, and it had a bunch of bases poking up. Get off. And I'd gotten up and everything was fine. You know, rode off, everything was good. And it was definitely a very freaky experience after the math, whenever me and my homie Cole Crush, Darren Cole, we ended up riding past that spot, and I saw that same dead branch that was laying in the ground, or laying along the sidewalk. And I took a second look at it and had realized that I flew like 20 feet. Now, I had to have been going maybe 15, 17 miles an hour. I don't think I was going like, you know, pushing my usual 20 to 21. I definitely was at a moderate pace. But the way I'd hit that branch and the way it swept out, and the fact that I was going downhill, meant that my trajectory was much further than anticipated. So when I looked at this, I had noticed that I had missed the telephone pole by inches. And there was this concrete barrier that the neighbor that had the house right there, they had this concrete wall to keep their yard in. And that concrete wall, I stopped right before that concrete wall and had no idea that had actually happened in the moment until after the day after. So I literally had fallen downhill and then just nestled into this pocket perfectly to where I didn't get gored by whatever I hit my arm on. I didn't hit the telephone pole, and I stopped just before this concrete barrier that would have definitely hospitalized me. That was kind of a freaky Biff. I mean, when I looked at it in hindsight. And so, I mean, moral of the story, pay attention when you're riding, even if you're filming. And thank God I had my helmet, and I thank God for keeping me safe, because I don't know how I got away with that one.
This is Cricket in transmission.